Okay, well, I am here to talk to your guides and just to talk about guides in general. Okay, thanks, Judith. I really appreciate it. I wish you could see what it's showing me here. It's like a little fun house. So, yeah, thank you. I designed this shirt and it kind of looks like I'm a nurse and we're gonna have to do better. So, I appreciate that. I like it too, but I think we could use some improvements over here. I love spirit guides. I have loved spirit guides since I was a little kid. In fact, I had an imaginary older brother named Matt, who I learned much later in life was my hybrid brother. But at the time, I really thought that he was my spirit guide. And so we used to talk about things all the time. We would swing on the swing set together. And yeah, it was just a wonderful time. He was with me all through my teen years. In fact, I can still call on him today. And I have seen hundreds of guides in my day, and they can appear as anything. So, how they appear to you is oftentimes a message in itself. Sometimes you'll feel like there's a male energy or a female energy, or it feels like an inanimate object or an elf or an animal or a tree. I've seen everything from like clouds to jello to mermaids and mountains. I mean, like anything you could possibly imagine, I've seen. And it's a message when it comes like that, which I think is really cool. Because if you think about it, if you are a non physical being, and you can present yourself as anything, wouldn't you want to have fun with it, especially when you're dealing with people who see things in shapes and colors? Wouldn't you want to use that as part of your message? So that's really fun for me. I really love talking to spirit guides and seeing how they differ. One thing that's interesting is a lot of times if you're taking a walk out in nature, or if you're in a room in a house, if you look up and into the corner, or if you're outside, if you look in trees, you can see a lot of times a spirit floating in a corner or in a tree. Even if you can't really see that well energy, if you look into a corner of a room right now, you can kind of like softly focus on the corner, focus on where the intersection is, right? So where the lines of the wall and the ceiling come together. And you'll see that it gets foggier as you keep looking at it. And that is energy. So if you keep looking at that long enough, you'll start to see it kind of get more dense. Like, not a lot of kids these days know what TV snow or TV fuzz looks like, but it looks like that. It looks like fog. And if you keep looking at it, it'll get denser and denser. And then you might be able to see some movement there, or sparkles, or whatever, like you'll be able to see something change in that fog. And that is somebody, something, some energy, some spirit. And then if you get really good at seeing it in a corner or in a dark room, you can really apply that anywhere. Go outside at night, look at the tops of trees, and you'll be able to start to see your guides and just spirits in general. So yeah, I hope that's interesting to you. Let me know in the chat if you want me to talk to your guides, if you have a question for them. If you already see your guides and talk to them, let me know what it's like for you. And we can make this interactive. This is so much fun. I only have until 30 minutes after the hour. So whatever that is for you. For me, it's 3:30, and then I have to go. But I think that'll give us plenty of time. So I'll tell you a little bit about my guides to start, if you want. I have a bunch of them. So I have Pleiadian guides. I have angelic guides. I don't know what they are, where they're from, little blue dot guides. I have Zeta guides. I have all kinds of guides, and they're not always, most of them I'm connected to within my body as me, but it's not like they follow me around. So I think there's a common misconception that a spirit guide has to always be with you for them to be your guide, and I don't think that's true. I think guides are like friends. You know, sometimes you're with your friends, sometimes you're calling them and they're far away, sometimes you don't see them for a long time, but it doesn't mean they're not your friend. So a guide is just somebody connected to you who, you know, has your best interest at heart and is someone you go to kind of like as a counselor sometimes, and sometimes they're very quiet in your life. They're there just to look over you and they don't really get so active in your life. Like I said, I've had that experience where a guide wouldn't talk to me at all. And I got the feeling like it was almost like he was just in observation mode, even for that person, where he really didn't feel called to get involved in any way. And yeah, so the concept of guide is sometimes we can see it as one thing or like a guardian angel, but really it's kind of a broad term for all of the non-physical helpers that we deal with, which is a lot, a whole lot. So Judith is saying that she was able to help her mom contact her guide, but she has a harder time with hers. All right, well, let's take a little chat. So for you, Judith, I'm getting a more female energy, more like a full figured, I even want to say like Russian or Ukrainian kind of feel, like an old world grandma kind of feel. Like it reminds me of my Italian great grandma with the big bust and the big apron on her bottom half, you know, like she's been cooking all day or like tending to children. And she has a very warm energy, but she's also very to the point. And I think she's appearing this way for me because she's like a no nonsense kind of lady. She's not going to let anybody cross her boundaries. And I think she's wanting to help you feel that you can have boundaries. And when I say that, I'm getting a lot of positive feeling in my body. So I feel like I'm on the right track with her. Like she's almost validating what I'm saying as I'm saying it. So she can see you being happier and accomplishing more of what you want in your life if you become more adamant about your time, your schedule, what you like, what you don't like. She kind of wants you to be more, you know, cut and dry with what you'll allow and what you won't allow. And that doesn't mean you're not still warm and friendly, because this lady definitely is, but that's what you have called her in to help you with, even if you don't know it. So let me know if that makes sense to you. There's also a level of confidence with her that is just there. I think a lot of us feel like we need to earn confidence. We need to practice confidence. We need to like create confidence. When really, if we just relax and accept ourselves more, like this is just who I am, this is what I want, that's a confident stance, and that's what she has. So if you have any wobbliness on your confidence, she's also there to remind you that, like, you already have it. You're already you. That's enough. You're already worthy. You're already everything that you need to be in order to have the life you want and to expect the life you want. Okay. So she says, oh, that makes total sense. Fun. I love this. So if anybody else is out there, feel free to chime in and ask me a question. So Judith also says, I've had a lot of issues with boundaries. Yeah, I mean, it's a common thing and it's nothing to feel bad about. Not projecting that you do, but in case somebody out there is, you know, I don't know if we're really modeled great boundaries, most of us. So we're just modeled pleasing others. And it takes a lot of effort in the beginning to establish boundaries and to say, like, nope, this is my time. I'm doing this. I'm shutting my phone off, or whatever it would be for you. We all create boundaries in different ways. But how you know if your boundary is being crossed is if you don't feel good. So if somebody asks you a question, will you do this for me? Or do you want to hang out then? And you don't feel good, you have this negative feeling in your body, that means there's a boundary there. They're crossing. And you can say no and know that you're upholding your own alignment. Can my guides help me increase my intuition? Well, I mean, yes and no. Like, your own intuition is only blocked by you. So if you want to, so whatever you're desiring to use your intuition for is a good focuser. So if you want to communicate with your guides better, try to focus on them, and that will increase your intuition. If you want to use your intuition to help you with happiness or centeredness, then focusing on that can help you increase your intuition. So whatever is exciting for you, give more attention to that, and that will help you increase your intuition. Intuition is just about your feelings. And that doesn't make sense a lot of the time to people who haven't thought about it that way. They think it's kind of like an out of the body thing, but intuition is an in the body thing. And it's your first voice. It's your first reaction to something. So if I was to ask you, it's so hard to come up with hypothetical things, but if I was to say, Judith, your name is really Charlie, you're not really going to feel any resonance with that. It's kind of going to feel like it bounces off of you. And that's because it's not true. And so your body's not validating it as true. But if I was to say to you, your name is Judith, you're going to feel like, yeah, of course it is. And I think you have a daughter. And so if I say, hey, Judith, you have a daughter, it's going to feel like, yes, I do have a daughter. You're going to resonate inside of you. And so that alone, just paying attention to what goes in and resonates and what doesn't go in, it's not true for you, that can help you grow your intuition a whole lot. And when you have that, once you know what's a yes for you and what's not a yes for you, then you can do anything. You can start asking your guide questions. You can ask your guide, like, are you here right now? And then feel, are you feeling a yes or are you feeling a no? You don't have to hear anything back from them to get an answer because it's all telepathic. And so then you can ask them other questions, personal questions that you want to know. Are you helping me with boundaries? Are you feeling a yes? Are you with me all the time? Are you guide for another person? You can really start to have a conversation with them just by feeling that resonance. Yeah, and I like to ask different guides different things. Once you get a feel for who your guides are, like you probably have more, then you can kind of understand that they each have a personality and a voice. Like, this one's helping you with confidence and boundaries. And if you wanted to start a business, this person, this guide, might not be the best one to ask those kinds of questions to. So for that, you can call in a new guide. And you can do that at any point. You can call for help anytime. And the key to really getting the help that you want is to be really open and chill about it. If you're in a desperate mode or really asking, like, dear God, please, then you're actually putting up this block to receiving, because the receiving of help and the asking for help is often a very different vibration. So you have to be a match to the answer. And so you could just do that by saying, oh, geez, I would love to have a guide helping me with this issue right now. And that allows them to come in, and then you can do it all over again. Ask them questions. Say, show me something in my real life, like show me a clue to help me with this. And you'll start to see stuff. It's really neat. You can interact with the non-physical world in so many different ways, even if you can't see it or hear it or, feel it per se. So much fun. But I highly recommend trying to see it. I think it's definitely worthwhile because it kind of reminds you. So when you start to see energy, it reminds you that this world is not everything. And I feel like that's a huge advantage I had growing up because I knew that this reality wasn't as solid as we were really taught to believe. And when you know that, when you can see that, like, there's energy coming off a rock or my purse, or there's somebody floating up in the corner there, you begin to open up your mind to new possibilities about everything, about what you can achieve in this life and how happy you can be and what you don't have to do that you thought you had to do. So I really encourage expanding your sixth sense, or whatever you want to call it, because it's such an easy way to open up your mind about everything. So Judith says, oh my gosh, I have done that. I've asked the universe to show me dimes when I'm on the right path, and it did. Yeah, it's so fun, isn't it? And when you see that dime, it means so much more than just finding 10 cents, right? It's like makes your day because you know you asked for it, and it means that you're doing what you want to be doing. You're on your path. So I love that. That's a really great one. I was just listening to an Abraham Hicks recording this morning on YouTube about when they were reading a book, and it said, like, when you're on an abundant path, pennies will start to show up for you. And so it's funny that you just talked about dimes showing up. So Judith says she's considered legally blind, so she does see things very differently. That's really interesting. I don't have great vision, but I'm not legally blind. So I wonder, what does it look like for you to see, like, into a corner or something? It might be easier for you to see energy because you can't necessarily maybe focus on sharp details already. I don't know. If you want to elaborate, definitely go for it. But I'm wondering, in a dark room, do you see more gray instead of just pitch black? Because if you see more gray and fogginess, then that's energy. And you might be more suited to see that naturally. I thought my cat came in. Oh, what advice can I give you if you want to see your guide more or feel them more? One thing that's interesting is each being that communicates with you usually hits your body in a different place. So a lot of times you will feel your guide like in the middle of your back or in the bottom of your neck or maybe in your hair. And it's a very subtle feeling, but a lot of times if you call your guide in, you might feel a little sensation somewhere on your body. And that will be in the same place every single time for that being. Different beings will activate different places. And I find that to be very helpful for knowing who has shown up and who's coming. And it's kind of just like an extra safety protocol too. So like that's a consistent way to tell if that being is there for you. So you could try that too. Like, guide, let me feel your presence, and then you'll feel it in the same spot. And Judith says, that is true. I do see energy. Nice. Yeah. I really love it when people realize that what they're seeing when they're seeing that grayness over black is energy. I think they're surprised, but it really shouldn't be a shock. We're all non-physical beings, and we're born seeing everything. We're born seeing auras and you know, knowing a lot more than we currently do for most of us. And it's just, we just forget to use it because it's not acknowledged. So yeah, it's easy to get it back because we can already do it. That's awesome. Yeah, so some people also see color. My sister is one of them. She can see blobs of color just with her eyes in the same way that we're seeing energy right now. And I don't. I can see color if I close my eyes or if I can just know what color is there, but I can't, it doesn't appear like a blob of color in my vision. So that's pretty interesting too. People have different views. Like Judith is saying, she sees different shades. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's no right or wrong way to do any of this. It's just like there's no right or wrong way to meet a friend or order coffee. You know, like there's so much variety. It's a whole extra world, the non-physical world. There's so many different planets and star systems and universes and like all kinds of different beings, physical and non-physical. We are just a tiny little part of that. We're a celebrated part of that. And there are a lot of beings that are really friendly to us. So whatever you want to experience in this world, whether it be guides or anything else, you can just have the intention to do it and then it'll start showing up for you. So I think this was a super fun live stream. If you guys have any questions about any of it, leave me a comment. If you have a desire for any other kind of live stream, let me know. I'm really happy to do more. And yeah, I have another video coming out for you guys tomorrow. And I will see you then. Super love. Thanks, Judith, for all the questions. That was really fun. Now I got to figure out how to get out of here. All right, I'm working on it. I'm using a new live stream setup here. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.